So, for a number of days now, I've been seeing that there are moments throughout one's day, experiences that one has, which really connect us and really feel like touching a sacred space, touching a profound experience beyond time and space. It can't almost be spoken about. It's a sensation, it's an experience. And these moments throughout the day that I would call almost godlike moments. Okay? Being in the presence of the divine, I would say. Okay? In the immense amount of beauty and love, and meaning, and just being bathed in that within moments that do come about, and they can be very brief, obviously, and they happen a lot of the time actually, but we're not very present for it because we live in such a hard and demanding and mental world, and a stressful world, and a world that's really trying its best to have us removed and not have enough space and time and heart and connectedness to appreciate these kind of God space moments. I don't know what words to use for them, but they're there, and it's up to the individual to be present enough for them, and to create a space for them. And that's what I think happens with this growth of consciousness and awareness and connectedness, is that one is picking up more of the beauty, in a way, okay? More of the love, in a sense, that can be found in life. It's literally stopping to smell the roses, in a way. And there are roses to be smelt and to be looked upon and gazed upon. I mean, there are, but again, one has to be present for it. But in the beginning stages, I mean, when one is heavily conditioned and not present, I would say, not connected, not in balance, not in touch with the imagination, not in touch with the mystical, the magic, right? The mystery. When one is not in touch with it, when they just like a cog in the machine mind, there's no ways that you can really go deep into the deep experience, the profound experience of the God moments, in a way. And so what I'm saying is that we have an idea that of this word God, and God resides in the temple, the synagogue, the church, the ashram, or something or other, and God is kind of this very abstract sort of being, in a way. And that's a lot of our definition, interpretation across the globe for most people, and it's been traditionally taught that way. And what I'm saying is that that's completely inaccurate. The experience of God, of divine, right, to know God, in a way, is through through most moments of life. But I'm talking only now in regards to the ones that really touched our hearts and do touch our hearts, okay? And I just wrote some of them down, but the list is endless, really. I mean, I only spent maybe 5-10 minutes writing this list down before I did this recording. So, but I mean, it's really the responsibility of the individual to have their own list, or to have their own moments of that they have had such experiences of the divine, of the magic, of the mystery, of the imagination, whatever you may call it. It's a feeling that You can feel it in your bones, in your flesh, in the pit of your stomach, in your heart. It overtakes you, and it brings you right to the present and right to the mystery, right to the now, in a sense anyway. So, for myself, there are times when very dark times that I go through where I need to draw back on a memory or an experience of something whereby I felt the hand of the divine, or the arms of the divine, embracing me. Okay, and so just coming back to what I was just saying, is that these moments are embracing. These moments, again, is how we get to know Source, how we get to know the feeling of being of home. Okay, of being at home. And so, because what I'm saying is that, like, for example, I wrote over here, the smell of a rose. All right, not for everybody, but for some. The smell of a rose is connecting oneself to. It's an experience which is similar, I would imagine, and it resonates of the energy of home. Okay, a baby smile, for example, or a child's smile. Okay, it's an experience of home. It's of the source of where we come from. Alright, it might be an object, it might be, a smile, teeth, lips, face, but what it represents. So that's what I'm saying, is that there are moments constantly that represent the feeling of home. I don't know how to quite put this otherwise, but it can be, I've written over here, a song, right? Your old-time favorite song. Alright, and when you hear it, it reminds you of home. Okay, again, not the physical home, but it reminds you of something that's beyond words, beyond place and time, beyond rationality. Okay, and it just envelops you, and it takes you somewhere else. That's the thing, it takes you out of the 3D. It takes you out of your personality. It takes you out of your mind, right? And it lifts you up. And so something like that, your first kiss, right? Your first kiss, a sunset, being under a sky full of stars, being out in nature in absolute quietness, stillness, and being able to gaze upon the whole night sky and see the hundreds and millions of stars above, right? Just that space, that awesomeness, the magnitude of it, right? And how it also at the same time makes you feel so humbled, but yet at the same time part of something that is so gigantic, that is so profound, that is so alive. See, there's also moments where we felt alive, right? We felt a thrill. We felt an excitement, but not a superficial excitement. Something that, like I wrote over here as well, seeing a lover that you haven't seen for a long period of time. And you've been anticipating and waiting to see them, and finally you get to see them. But you see, what I'm saying is that moment, which transcends all space and time, and lifts you up and makes you feel alive. Okay. I wrote over here, it can even be something like accomplishing a hike that you've always wanted to do, right? Or being now able to successfully play a musical instrument that you've been wanting to play, and finally you're able to play it well, and you enjoy that moment, and it's filled with aliveness, it's filled with connectedness, it's filled with presence, it's filled with also rapture, it's filled with rhythm, right? And there's a feeling of accomplishment as well. Accomplishment is a massive feeling, it's a great feeling, it's a beautiful feeling of aliveness, right? It's fulfilling a part of your potential, right? There's another one, returning a lost item. This happened to me the other day. I tell you, it just lifted my spirits. I wasn't having such a beautiful day at all, and it just lifted my spirits. I don't know, all of a sudden, just so much of the heaviness of my mind and my troubles just faded away briefly. And I mean, the person who I returned the lost item to was over the moon, and they couldn't believe it, and it was such a miracle for them. And and for myself, just to be part of that miracle for them was just so wondrous. To be able to do something, that was good for another was just so elevating for myself, right? It can also be in the moments where you visited the sick or the elderly, alright? It's doing something for others that counts, that's positive, that enriches you, that empowers you. Okay. Over here, just moving on, the smell of a home cooked meal. Right, for some who are rather lonely, out there, who spend time in their own apartments or on their own a lot of the time, don't really do their own cooking, or even if they do, it's not the same as if you walk into another person's house for dinner and they got something in the oven. It just smells fantastic. I mean, even for myself, when I visit my mother and she's cooking up a meal and I walk into the house, it's the aroma for myself, and it reminds me of when I was a child. It's a similar aroma. She cooks similar food, and so that also invokes something within me. I mean, even having that now, like that smell, that maybe, or a piece of my favorite chocolate cake when I was younger, or something like that, something that my mother used to make, pancakes or something or other, and which I don't really eat so much today, but from time to time. But when I do, it invokes a whole lot of sort of Sunday morning moments, when I was a child, of potential impossibility and wonder, okay, which I must say for myself, a lot of the time I don't look back fondly on my upbringing, and that's also okay. I'm trying to, why should I always be fond about my childhood? I'm going to have mixed emotions about it. It was necessary, certain things, but I suppose for another talk, but I'm going to have mixed emotions, but I still have fond memories, certain memories at the time, because I see children who play, and they can be children whose parents are alcoholics and whatever it is, and there's a lot of trauma going on in the house, but you can see that when they play, their excitement, and their presence when they're playing, that the worry has dissipated. It's not there about their parents. Their condition, their specifics of what they're going through are all forgotten about, so that the child can explore and be adventurous, even with the world looking so dark around them, which appears, but there's a naivety and there's an innocence, if you know what I mean. And through that naivety and innocence, when the child were able to really dream big, and imagine big and experience big. I remember for myself, my school holidays weren't filled with many adventures, but maybe just even getting a cardboard box and sliding down a hill near my house on the cardboard box was adventurous enough, and it was thrilling enough. Couldn't wait to get out and graze my knees and my elbows, and come home smelling of grass and whatever it is, maybe a bruise here and there, but so there's the childhood moments. Okay, so moving on. Maybe it's something from your past, the song your grandmother used to sing to you, right? Or maybe even have a toy that, I remember when I used to visit my grandmother, she had this car, this dinky car, whatever, I don't know, and I kept it for many years, and after she passed on, and that car would remind me of the times that I spent at her, and those moments of pushing the car on the parquet flooring, and then while she was making ginger biscuits, in the kitchen. Yeah. So something like that. Okay, it's not just memory, folks. It is tactically, syntaxically, whatever it is. It's memories, it's neurons firing. That's all it is. If you want to break it down to reduction, that's all that it is. There's no big deal about it. But there's meaning behind it, and there's relevance behind it. There's significance behind it. There's deep experience behind it. It was your experience, right? It was. And much more, so it's not just down to synapse, not just memory, but it's what I'm saying is this, it's got the same almost scent or flavor, or energy of home again, of source, of divinity, of being connected beyond space and time, beyond the material, beyond the flesh. I mean, sure, it's just a memory, but it's got an energy connected to it. It's got an experience connected to it, right? And so that's it. It's moving beyond the surface of things. So I mentioned over here, after a good detox. Okay, I'm actually doing this recording as of in this evening. As today, I went for a colon cleansing, a hydrotherapy colon. Something like that. Basically, and it's the first time I've had it, and I struggle with massive stomach issues and bloating and gas, and even a few days ago, like, my stomach keeps me up at night, and if I press on my stomach, it's like hard as rock, and it's really painful. It's really tender but sore and hard, and after this detox today, I mean, it was eye-opening experience, But for myself, like, my stomach now feels like jelly when I press on it, and I'm just so amazed, and I just feel that I've cleansed a whole lot of built up junk, not just junk, but waste, folks, waste, and so much of us it needs to be detoxed. And anyway, so for myself, I'm really feeling a lot more clear-headed. Okay, I am exhausted because that's what it does to you. But I just feel great. I mean, for now, I was having a bath and didn't want to get out. It was just so healing. That's another thing. So coming back, saying after a detox, some of you folks know, maybe you did a fast for 3 or 4 days or whatever it is, or you did just juicing, or I don't know, many different kind of ways to detox, and you know how good you felt afterwards, how healed you felt afterwards, and how connected you felt, and how light again you felt, and alive you felt. Okay, you can feel this way after and during, well, more so after, a good laugh or a good cry. Both leave you exhausted. Both are of extreme expression of energy, of an outlet of energy. I mean, you cry, tears are present when you laugh, and tears are present when you cry. It's amazing that, because they're complete opposites, right? But after a good cry or a good laugh, right, you feel that space and presence. Something's been released, something's been cleaned in a way, something's been let go of, or something's been realized in the laugh, something or other. And again, it's just that moment of being connected. Alright, it's brief, and and through all of these, what I'm saying is that some are more deep than others, and they're not always the same. Each moment is different, each depth, each layer, is different, each experience is different. It's not the same for, I don't know, maybe hearing a song as it is to smelling a rose. It's different, and they all have their levels, and some are more intense and less intense than others, but they still have something that ultimately dials you in to, to home in some way or another. Okay. Saying over here, this doesn't relate to me, but I've heard, and I just imagine holding your firstborn child for the first time. I can just imagine what that might feel like. I mean, I can just imagine the mixed emotions of absolute fierce, doubt, love, compassion, empathy, humility. I can just imagine what a mixed bag of emotions it is, but such a profound experience that just in that alone is beyond space and time. Again, makes you feel so alive. Alright. And with that, again, something I can't relate to. I mean, I don't have a child, but kissing your children goodnight. I see it in the movies, okay? We charge just movies, but it just seems like, it's late at night. Children are comfortable and calm and relaxed in bed. They had a good day, maybe at the beach or something like that. I don't know. Maybe they just read a good bedtime story, and then the father or the mother kisses them goodnight and tucks them in and leaves the room, and the child says, "Don't close the door all the way," or something like that. I can just imagine that feeling of the parent walking out the room. I'm not saying within the movie, but within real life. And just feeling, my children are well, my children are present, my children are comfortable, my children, and I'm here to experience this. And just imagine how transformational that must be. Okay, rain or snow on your window pane, But again, not on. I mean, depending on space and time. Again, with all of this, really, but because again, the world that we live in is so demanding. Like, I mean, rain or snow on your window pane at 8:30 on Monday morning, is not going to be appreciated. You're not going to be present enough for that for most of us. Most of us are not going to be present enough for that. That's just impossible. It's like you got things to do, places to be, bills to pay. Jeez, man, the stress. It's like the chaos of life absolutely takes us away from these moments. But I'm kind of more talking about when can be 3 a.m. in the morning, on a Saturday morning, and everybody else is asleep, and the world as you know it is asleep, and it's a full moon outside, which I suppose wouldn't help if it's raining because it wouldn't be light enough. But let's just say there's a break in the clouds and the moon is shining through, and the rain is gently, falling on your window pane, and you're just watching it, or snow, or something or other. You get what I'm saying? But and again, these moments are so hard to. Even when you're with somebody, you can experience them together, but you're experiencing it alone at the same time in your own unique way. So, but as human beings, if we're really open and we're really connected to one another, and we can really be in each other's shoes, and I think, and truly really experience what it feels like for one another. But that's a very deep level of relationship, I would say, and connectedness to the other. Alright, folks, so, I mean, again, I've reached the end of my list, but one can come up with their own list, and their list will be endless. And what I'm saying is that this is the struggle and the suffering of life, is that we are so far removed from home, from source, from the divine space, from the imagination, from the mysterious, from the magic, right? From the love, right? From the meaning, from the beauty. We're so removed from it. I mean, I'm telling you now, when I'm driving tomorrow on the highway, having to go, I don't know, renew my driver's license or something like that, and I'm not going to be present. I'm going to be disappointed in how tough and rough my situation is. I'm going to be swearing at the car in front of me with the guy speaking on his cell phone, who's almost, stopping and not concentrating, and you get the gist of it, or having to pass advertisements with that are just insulting to one's intelligence, and having to hear the news or something or other, or some song on the radio about, touch my private parts, and something or other. It's just, that's it. It's the world's a dark place, and it's ugly, and it's nasty, and it's brutal, and it's cruel. Okay, and that's the world we live in today. And so it's hard, but one, I think, at the end of every day, or moments throughout the day, needs to find those moments. Don't force them, but even in memory, if they're not around, if you're sitting in the dentist room, in the waiting room, and it's just like I was today, and the radio is playing, and it's fluorescent lighting, and it's just such a unhealthy, environment, just being in the office, whatever it is, and it's like this hard moments, and can't force it. So, you just have to grin and bear those moments. I'm saying it's not all love and light, folks. Behind it all, yes, but we can't have these moments of connectedness without these moments of deep grief, despair, agony, suffering, pain, loss. Oh, geez, man, insults, everything. So that's the suffering, which I'll do another talk on, the duality of it. It's like, on the one hand, you're dancing and singing with the angels, and the other hand, you're cooking a roast with the devil in a way. And it's just a bad analogy, but the one moment you sitting on a beautiful beach watching the sunrise or sunset, and the next moment you like standing on a pile of waste, of trash, of plastic, and thrown away consumer goods and whatever it is, that kind of thing. It's just, yeah, folks, it's a challenging world that we live in, and it's to be realistic, but to know that one has to and needs to invite moments of divineness and heartfulness into their world. Alright, folks, with that, I'll leave you, and we'll chat soon. Take care.